Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, and we're going back to the Marvel comics today to talk about another single issue. And this one is called the Hoth Stuff. Kind of reminds me of the New Kids on the Block, the right stuff. Well, baby, you've got the Hoth stuff. I don't know. Anyways, the last issue teased us, 77 teased us that we were going to be getting the big con, which was the Lando and Chewie and the droid side of this mission to try and find Tate Vanis. Uh, Again, this is another. We see it again where they were, earlier in the series where they were like, "Oh, the Empire Strikes Back is next." No, it's not. It's another example of that where this story's next and then it's not. It's a very filler issue, and it's not even that great of a filler issue, to be honest. But anyways, of course, you can find it, as I've been showing here, in Fool's Bounty. This is volume 5 of the Marvel stuff that Dark Horse put out. And the issue here is right here. That is the cover, and that is issue 78. So, Luke and Leia and Barland Hightower, it's a new character, they're looking for Wedge Antilles. They haven't seen him since the Battle of Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back. So they're aboard this transport, or this Y-wing, trying to find Wedge. And they find this rebel transport that did not escape from the Battle of Hoth. And so they get aboard this transport and they find this recording by Wedge um, about what happened. So basically, they go and they find this recording that Wedge did. And basically, after the Battle of Hoth, they go and he and Wes Jansen, who he had as his gunner, we see that in the movie. They go and are trying to escape from Hoth. They're also in a Y-wing. They get shot down, and they eventually make their way back to Echo Base. And it's kind of a survival story. They're trying to survive and make it out okay. In fact, I think they even find the uh, the the head of the AT-AT that Luke blew off in the movie with that when he uses the gravel gun and blows off the head. I think they actually find that. They find just a head of one here, and so it could be that one. But anyways, um, these scavengers arrive, so they're trying to scavenge all this technology. And Jansen is found dead, even though he appears a lot more in the modern EU, particularly in the X-Wing series. But I guess just bear with me; we'll get to that. Um, so Wedge escapes, and he ends up drifting around in space, and and, and so he's just drifting there, and eventually, uh, Luke just looks out the window, and boom, there he is, Wedge. And he ends. So Wedge and Luke and Leia and Barland are reunited with him. They get him, and then they all go back to the Alliance. So here's the continuity thing that we have to talk about, right? Jansen is dead. Well, how can that be? Well, remember, the Marvel Comics, we've not really talked about the hierarchy in a while, but remember, the Marvel Comics were for the longest time considered S canon in the expanded universe. S canon, where some of it's canon, but some of it isn't. And it's also kind of up in the air of, is this canon, is it not? Secondary canon is a very tricky thing to define, and after having some discussions with some people, I found it a little bit hard. I kind of look back, I guess, on my introduction video, and I kind of think, man, it is a lot harder to explain and a lot more complex than I initially did. So it's kind of this weird thing. Eventually, the Marvel Comics were brought back into the C canon, the overall continuity of Star Wars. And so basically, what the retcon of that is that obviously Jansen didn't die. I mean, if you've read, the X-Wing series or any of the modern EU, Jansen does not die. I mean, he's alive and well. Basically, how to explain it is that this is Wedge's recollection of the story to kind of freak out the new recruits. Be like, oh, when you met Jansen, you thought he was dead. No, he's not. It's like, oh, kind of just to freak him out. Kind of a cool way to do that. They also say that Wedge is one of Luke's childhood friends on Tatooine. Now, of course, we know that Wedge was not one of Luke's boyhood friends. Luke met Wedge during the Battle of Yavin. So Biggs Darklighter was actually the boyhood friend from Tatooine. So Now, Luke and Wedge are good friends, and of course they help, do the whole Rogue Squadron thing. But they never hung out together in Tatooine, and so it's kind of like, well, that's a little strange. That's weird. Um, so I guess to conclude this, is this issue is the Hoth stuff, or Hoth stuff? I gotta stop thinking about New Kids on the Block. It's screwing up my thing. Anyways, the Hoth. Anyways, is Hoth stuff an essential read for your expanded universe reading? No, it's not. Even in the Marvel, for the Marvel readers, this is not an essential read. It doesn't even really affect the overall continuity, and because that this story was retconned a little because of the whole X-Men thing, where Jansen doesn't even really die, it pretty much could just be removed from Star Wars canon or Legends continuity at least altogether. That just though is my opinion, but really, I mean, there's nothing really here. If you want to read it, go ahead. But this is an easily skippable Marvel issue, and you can move on to the next one. So, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time with another episode of the Star Wars Library, the Hoth stuff.